All right, time for the team previews. NFC West, Arizona Cardinals. No respect, a great home field advantage, and they still won 8 games last year, even though they've had a ton of injuries, especially at the quarterback position. And poor Larry Fitzgerald, who might be the third best wide receiver of all time, Skelton, Lindley, Stanton, Gabbert. These are the type of quarterbacks he's had to deal with, and he still put up Hall of Fame numbers. Their win total opened 6.5 in Vegas, bet down to 6. It's now 5.5 over -160 at the Westgate. Odds to make the playoffs 7-1, 15-1 to win the division, 75-1 to win the Super Bowl. 8-8 straight up last year, 6-9-1 ATS, 10-6 to the under. Bradford's in. They also draft Rosen. Palmer's gone. Gabbert's gone. Wilkes is the new head coach. Mike McCoy is the new OC. And a lot of things went wrong last year, even when you look at the turnover differential, and they still found a way to win 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, they were -4 in turnovers last year, and considering that they finished the season 8-8 despite losing their quarterback, a bevy of injuries, all kinds of problems. But make no mistake about it, this is a complete rebuild job for Arizona. We've got a new quarterback, we've got a new head coach, we've got new coordinators, we have a ton of veteran talent that is left. Let's start with Steve Wilkes, the new head coach. He was a defense coordinator in Carolina. The Panthers finished last year number 6 in total defense. He was their defensive backs coach from 2012 to 2016. Also had stints as a DB coach with the Chargers and Bears. But this is the guy who only became a coordinator last year. Now he's getting his first head coach gig this year. It's a pretty big jump for Steve Wilkes. Of course, he was very happy with the offseason progress. Quote, when you talk about putting people in a new system in all 3 phases, I thought the guys really grasped the details, understood the concepts, and we got better. You know, he's talking about showing film and how far they've come to where they are right now. It's a new offense. It's a new defense. It's a new staff. It's a new quarterback. And boy, there's a lot of new personnel, a lot of key veteran leaders. Even though Larry Fitzgerald is back, a lot of key veterans lost for Arizona. Not to mention the schedule. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's a big part of the reason why the markets are so bullish on the Arizona Cardinals, at least in early betting action.
They could get off to a good start, though. Its schedule is pretty easy out of the gates. Difficult at the end. They also lose Honey Badger, but they gave Bradford $15 million a year. So with that offensive line, this could be a recipe for disaster. He talked with the coaching medical staff about a plan for him to stay healthy. This guy played 2 games last year. 2! And tearing that ACL a couple times in his bad knee, and he got in there that Monday night game against the Bears and couldn't even move, and then couldn't come back until late in the season with the Vikings. Not good. It's not if, it's when. It's not when, it's if when he gets hurt, and they will go to Rosen sooner than later. And turn the franchise over to him. I also like taking Kirk, the wide receiver from A&M, in the 2nd round as well. The numbers are awful on offense. Football Outsiders had him at the bottom in offense, worst rushing attack. The defense was top 5 though, and Football Outsiders had him the number 1 rush defense as well. The mainstream stats: 22 in offense, 30th in run offense, rushing attack, total defense 6th, and running defense was 6th. But the schedule: Washington at home, at the Rams, Chicago at home, and Seattle at home. It's a tough place to play. No one gives them enough credit for that home field advantage. But if they can't start 3-1, the back end of that schedule is brutal. The other thing, too, about Fitzgerald, he led the Cardinals in targets each of the past 11 seasons. He paces the NFL in targets, receptions, and receiving yards over the past decade. His 28% target share last season was the highest since 2011. Entering the campaign 35 years old, but still one of the best wide receivers of all time. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. He's putting up numbers. And who knows with Rosen? I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in and is able to carve up some teams as well later in the season. But back to the schedule. As I mentioned, Washington at home, at the Rams, Chicago, and Seattle. They have to go 3-1 if you got the over. Now, again, they're being priced like they're the Cleveland Browns when you look at the win total. And you're seeing some under money as well. At the end, it is at the Chargers, at Green Bay, Detroit at home, at Atlanta, the Rams, and then at Seattle. That might be 1 win in there. And after the bye, there's Kansas City and Oakland sprinkled in there as well. So, if they can't get off to a hot start, this could be ugly.
Oh, I mean, that's the reason for all the money coming in against Arizona. Make no mistake about it. Now, look, I know that there's a lot of guys that are gone. You know, you talk about Tyrann Mathieu. You know, all right, you lose the coach, and you lose the quarterback, and you lose the backup quarterbacks, and you lose John and Jaron Brown, and you lose Justin Bethel and Tremont Williams from the secondary. Tyrann Mathieu was a leader in that locker room. His absence will be felt. But the biggest reason, well, I shouldn't say that, because the draft choice, the fact they took a QB with their number one pick and Sam Bradford means we expect Rosen to go in at some point. So when you have the rookie QB that's not going to start the season, but you think he's going to get a shot somewhere down the line, that's not real strong when you talk about overs. And when you talk about this year versus last year for Arizona, the single biggest schedule upgrade in the NFL in terms of toughness based on this year's win totals, the single biggest schedule upgrade in toughness from last year to this year. So not only do they face the single toughest schedule in the league, they also have the biggest upgrade from last year based on 2018 win totals. So there is no love for Arizona in the betting markets, none whatsoever. You know, and from all indications, you know, with Josh Rosen, with Christian Kirk, Mason Cole's an impact player. Kirk has the potential to do something right away, but this feels like a team right now that's building for the future, not a team that's built to compete in 2018. And when you have a team that's building for the future in a division with Seattle still there, San Fran's ascending, LA's ascending, the Arizona Cardinals, clearly the worst team in the division on paper. And that has not been the case at any point over the last, 6, 7, 8 years.
Glennon can't catch a break. Everywhere he goes, they take a quarterback. He goes to Chicago, they give him all that money. They take Trubisky, which is a surprise to him. Now he goes to Arizona, and they take Rosen in the draft as well.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.